It came faster for Matt. Speaking of which, he's had some pretty bad movies lately. Let's see what he's up to today.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. Yeah, apparently the weather's already changed outside and my hair's gotten shorter again. Magic! But, yeah, apparently last time when I reviewed, Splatterhouse, or actually the time before last when I reviewed the Splatterhouse series, I apparently got a little bit of extra notice compared to normal. Apparently there's a couple of retro gamers out there that saw it and really liked it. And they would like to see more, of course. So, being in the semi-horror festive moment that I am right now, let's do something else retro, yet horror-based, in video games. To that, we give you Gargoyles Quest. And once you see the front screen here, yes, I know what you're thinking. It says Capcom on there. But don't be worried. This is a Golden Age game, when they weren't acting like asses and ruining things for their freaking players. Made originally for the original Game Boy and recently ported over to the 3DS, Gargoyles Quest is a great small little game that could. Though I find it very odd that apparently no one else around here has actually really mentioned it all that much. But we'll get to that in a moment. First thing you're possibly wondering though, however, is where did this game come from? Easy, or hard, depending on what you thought of the original game that this was spawned off of. Gargoyles Quest is actually a spin-off series of games based on another very hard series called Ghosts and Goblins. This series is known for being a very hard platforming series of games, which has had their other spin-off Maximo, which did more or less the same thing, only it was actually in 3D world, like in PlayStation 2, compared to the side-scrolling which Ghosts and Goblins continues to be no matter what platform it's on. In fact, both Arthur's series of Ghosts and Goblins and Red Armor's series of Gargoyle/Demon series have both stayed 2D, while Maximo is the only part of the series to actually ever go 3D. Although, with the graduation of time, they have added some 3D effects to touch up the looks of things, they still very much play like a normal old-fashioned 2D side-scroller, including the PlayStation Portable version of Ghosts and Goblins, which I'm having a bit of time with. With all this info, though, it should be noted that there was a thing called the Speed Demon in the original Ghosts and Goblins game for NES. This thing very much resembles Red's Race. Nonetheless, gamers at the time thought that he was pretty cool looking despite being a very hard, non-boss fight. So despite how he pissed them all off, it was agreed that he was very impressive for a little monster that he was. So the idea was seeded that maybe they should make a game based off of him, because he got a lot of interesting questions out of fans. But it was also very risky to try and make a video game based after a character which was very much unlikable and very much a nasty, evil monster. So it was kind of a risk to go through with this thing and actually do it. So what Capcom intelligently thought at the time was, well, if we're going to do it, let's try and keep the costs low and see if the fans actually catch on to this. And in order to keep the costs low for designing the game, let's do it on Game Boy. Everything is much easier and cheaper on Game Boy. And that's pretty much why they decided to put this first game on Game Boy. But now, how does the game play? Being that it's a spin-off of a platformer series, obviously one expects this game to be a bit of a platformer as well. Half right there, my friends. Being that this is based around a demon, not only did they want the story to be something away from the old Save the Princess typical plotline, but they also want the gameplay to be changed a bit too. There's side-scrolling jumping, but there's also flying, and instead of hitting weapons with either melee weapons or firing magic of some sort, all the fighting is the character's breath attacks. With this also comes stats, upgrades for finishing dungeons, and other big story plots, and the other big thing is the RPG-like world map where you do get into random monster encounters, which you do use to get certain items out of. This alone makes the game very different from a lot of others and makes it stand out a bit, because it's not your normal turn-based fighting either. This comes from the fact that every time you win, you collect vials during these battles. These vials contain the essence of life in the Netherrealm. They are traded for talismans, which the essences are used to create. And with each talisman Red actually gets by trading in vials, he actually gets an extra life. Because yes, there are lives. There's a certain finite number of lives you can have in this game. But the plus side is, if you are running low on lives, you can actually leave a dungeon and go back out and try and collect more vials to collect more talismans. So the game, if you're not very good at it, can last you quite a long time. However, with this being an older game that is, there are some problems. First of all is no saving. You actually had to talk to a ghoul in town for a lot of the towns and get a password from him, which you use to load your game again. But as much as one would hate passwords, it actually saves everything, including the number of lives you have, as well as the number of vials and what town you're at. So it actually is handy, and it's not exactly the longest password system I've ever seen either, so it did its job relatively well and as painless as possible for its time. The story is fairly simple. You are Red Armor, or due to bad translations or something of the like, you're called Firebrand throughout this game. Apparently you are an abnormal gargoyle, and the residents of the Netherrealm have called upon you to save them from the army of the Dark Fog. The people are in fear of these things that can actually permanently kill them, despite being in a demonic world and almost everyone being undead creatures. Apparently these evil people can actually permanently put an end to them. After killing some locals and depowering a lot of the rulers of the Netherworld, Red Armor must now go about to the realm trying to get the items of power back and helping the realm's rulers, and boosting his own power in the process. There are about 4 levels to each stat that you gradually upgrade in the game. First is flying. This helps for the elongated glide to the point that by the end of the game you will be able to glide as long as you want, without having to worry about replenishing stuff. There's armor, which helps increase your hit points, and finally the attacks. The attacks do all sorts of things in this game. The first upgrade for attacks you get allows you to break open certain blocks while in the side-scrolling game. The second attack you get actually allows you to shoot at spikes on walls and actually land on the attack that you threw at the spikes. You can then jump off and proceed to do the same thing again and again until you get it up to the height that you're looking to get at. And the third upgrade is the one and only thing that can actually hurt the final boss at the very end of the game. I'm not sure about the second upgrade, but in general, pretty much all the attack upgrades do more damage than the previous attacks, so you're going to be swapping these out once in a while to do either certain things inside of a level or the fact that monsters are only weak to a certain attack. On a final note, Red, aka Firebrand, never talks the entire game. This, much like Link, allows the player to kind of feel like they're actually the ones being the character that they're playing in this game. So what your reaction is to what people say is the actual general reaction of what the character should be thinking or saying. And because of this, this allows players to, much like Link from Legend of Zelda, allows the players to really feel like they're really part of this game, and is a nice little driving force to make players want to complete the game. But in short, this is a very fun game to play. It's available either through emulators, or again, you can get it on a 3DS, and it's only about $4. The complete game, folks, $4. Capcom's not making much money off of this. And to be honest, it's a good enough game to deserve a buy. But via 3DS or emulators, you can do what is essentially a save state, where you can actually save your game in the middle of gameplay and come back to it later without having to worry about it being deleted unless someone else messes with it. And to be honest, there's really no good reason not to have this game. Even though Capcom have been asses of late, they did not ruin this game at least. This game is still very playable, it is still a completed furnished version, and there's no extra bullshit download crap that you have to worry about. But anyways, until next time, I have plans to review some more movies again, and they should be nowhere near as bad as the last collection. Till then, see you all later.
Seriously? Another happy review? God damn it! I knew I should game more games. Oh! What's that stupid thing that saw us get here already? Dang it! Yes! Where is it? Where is it? Oh. Yes! Yes! Nah, screw that up. Fuck!
Things to make them look a little nicer. And fucking trucks coming through the middle of my fucking speech. But in short, this is a very small... Small. What the fuck?